23.
Good evening, and welcome. For time immemorial, the female form has been worshipped and adored by the masses. The ungainly male form has often been less chosen by sculptors, painters, poets, and songwriters as a subject worthy of such time devotion. The curve of the female form, however, with her gentle slopes and rising hills, make her so much more of a sensual subject in the eyes of both men and women, which could be a possible reason why there is a higher percentage of artists attempting to replicate or capture this beauty in their artwork. Pygmalion, sick at heart after observing the priestesses of Venus prostitute themselves at the temple doors, set out to create for himself the perfect woman, only the one most beautiful, only the one untouched by any other man but him. And so he set out to carve himself one out of ivory, and at the festival of Venus he prayed for a wife. After his return home, one could only imagine his shock when he felt the warm flesh of a woman's caress wrap around him after placing a kiss upon the statue's stone lips. This ancient myth is said to be what inspired the internet legend of Terra the android, though it was not the goddess of love who brought this statue to life, but one of insanity. Terra's creator, according to legend, would kidnap women of the night and bury them alive, but not before attaching wires to them connected to the inanimate cyborg. It was their kicks and screams as they lie suffocating that powered the monstrosity to flail about and sing. Though the story has been proven false, it still demonstrates what some people think about, make stories of, or the lengths they might go through to create their idea of what the female form should be. I am your host, Mask, and in this episode, we'll be taking a look at an Instagram influencer that may be a little bit more than what she first appears to be. We'll be taking a look at the YouTube channels connected to her and the subreddit that ties it all together. Ladies and gentlemen, may I present to you Skin Deep, the sculpting of user 64342. Thank you, and they are watching. A few days ago, I was followed by an interesting user on Instagram, user 64342. I often look at the accounts that follow me to see if they are real accounts or throwaway accounts. This account, however, struck me just enough to investigate further. As I scrolled down, I could see that this seemed to be a member of the female masking community. Though I have run across accounts like this before, there was something about this one that seemed to grab my attention. The female masking community, in case you're unaware, is a community made up of mostly transgendered men, and to a lesser extent some women. Though a relatively close-knit community, it has become an increasing trend as the skills of these latex mask makers get better and better, and is made more known by YouTubers like Carrie Johnson and Henrietta Mask. I at first thought that this user 64342 was, by the looks, perhaps a fledgling member of this community, younger looking, with less accessories. In all her photos, she wears a female latex mask. Sometimes her hair is sky blue, other times a chestnut brown. Many maskers will go with the full body effect, complete with fake boobs and butt, and even arms and leggings, but this user didn't need all that. This seemed to be a real woman with just the mask. Quickly, I found her YouTube channel and absorbed all the content she had at the time. Her videos all have eye emojis, along with other descriptive emojis in the titles, and there is rarely any sound to the videos, just subtitles. There seems to be an emphasis on the sense of sight, that we should pay close visual attention, or that someone is possibly being watched. As for her reason for not speaking, we shall soon find out. A short video on why I wasn't sleeping last night is the first video on the channel. Though this upload is from 9 months ago, this channel is almost 3 years old, so there may be previous videos, we don't know for sure. But what we do see here now is a video where user 64342 is letting us know her feelings of distraught due to her best friend user 56271 not being with us any longer.
Good morning. Did you sleep well last night? I didn't sleep well at all. I couldn't stop thinking about my best friend. She's not here anymore. It's hard to let go of the ones you love.
At this point, she pulls out another mask on a mannequin's
but
head.
I still try to remain close. This was user 56271. See how pretty she was. I miss her a lot. But at least she's not crying anymore. Thanks for watching. Have an awesome day.
Already, we have a whole box of mystery to unwrap here. Firstly, what happened to her friend that the only thing left of her is a mask? What is their reason for wearing the masks to begin with? Why does she call her friend and herself a user? And why does she seem so cheerful about the whole thing? In the next video, our little living doll shares with us some of her doll collection. This time she introduces herself by a show of fingers. 6, 4, 3, 4, 2. She shows us Kiyomi, who loves the color red. On the screen there are several emoji displayed. 2 high-heeled shoes, a backpack, a living rose, and a dead rose, all the color red. She shows us Sumiri, who gets angry when touched, Donkey, who travels a lot, and another red one with no name, but she says it was a gift from someone named Roger. She proceeds to show us several more dolls before showing us one in a skeletal outfit. Pay close attention to its mask, as it may be relevant later. She says she knows some people who wear skeletons on the outside. I wonder if these are just random dolls, or if they could actually represent people somehow. Could the 2 high-heeled shoes and the backpack emoji represent a missing person? And the 2 roses, life and death? Who is this Roger fellow that she waves to in the audience? Who are the people she knows that wear skeletons on the outside? And why does she feel the need to let us know about that? In the next video, How to Walk Like a Doll, user shows us how to properly walk like a doll. In all black and white, we are shown her walking forward, and then the film is reversed into a loop.
Stay focused. Remember, you have no soul. Shoulders back, face forward.
When she tells us,
Do not move like a human.
the footage is suddenly in color as she dances playfully around, but turns black and white again when she says,
Know your place, and always practice.
We begin to feel that this girl is possibly under someone's control. Is someone putting her up to making these videos? This might give us some insight into the situation with user 56271. Perhaps she was someone that couldn't be conditioned like 64342 could, and had to be terminated somehow, or worse. Next up, user invites us to sightsee with her in showing you around town.
Hi everyone. Welcome back to my channel. Today I want to show you around my town. It is so pretty and amazing. I just know you'll love it. And to help me today, I've brought a very special friend for you to meet.
She then pulls out a clown doll.
This is Happy the Clown. He's going to help us explore today.
The film then cuts outside to a river.
This is the river.
We are then shown what looks like some sort of drainage grating.
As long as I've lived here, they have never opened the doors. Even when the water is running high. Left leads back to the river and locked doors. Right leads to beneath the insane asylum. Happy likes the river.
Next we see a red bricked church.
This is the only church in town. I've never seen a religious service held there. The next place should be very familiar to one viewer.
We are shown the outside again, possibly the backyard. We see a door open to a house and two sheds to the left. The words, "The dark place," fade in front of the shed. Was some poor hapless viewer lured to this place? Who was this viewer? What is the significance of the church? Could the locked doors by the river indicate that there is a possibility that inmates could escape from the asylum, or maybe even be smuggled out against their will? 64342 shows us a giant pumpkin in the next video. A huge white pumpkin she has, to draw a perfect sinister Joker face. This time, we hear music as the time lapses. The most interesting point in this video is right here, towards the end. The video clearly cuts to her writing something just below the view of the camera. Is she writing numbers on her legs? Could they be the numbers of another user? Does this have something to do with the giant pumpkin? We learn that user 64342 has an interest in the occult in giving the world a tarot reading. This time, when she introduces herself, she spells out the 4-3 in her name. Joining her in this video is a very skeletal and very deceased user 85121.
In the spirit of Halloween, I've decided to give the world a tarot reading.
A bombardment of questions flash upon the screen. Normal questions at first.
Will I find love? Will I become rich? Will I ever be happy?
But then some questions become quite strange.
Will I ever see them again? Is it too late? Will I be forgotten? Where is my life headed? When will the pain stop? How bad will things get? Are people laughing behind my back? Would I be able to get away with it?
Is this a purposeful typo? And get away with what exactly? Further questionable questions are:
when will it all be over? Why do others dislike me?
Then,
will they ever take Emma back?
These could very well be typos, but they are in the stranger questions. Who is it that she is asking about? Who could she be missing?
When are they coming back? Should I move? When will the world end?
The last question is interesting because this is a reading for the world. Also, keep in mind that the world is the last card of the major arcana.
The first card in the wheel is 0, and it represents our truest form. Are you ready to see your truest self?
She shows us the High Priestess.
Balance between forces, though she remains veiled. She will lie in wait, studying your weakness as she uses passive force.
Could this actually represent 64342 as she sits behind the veil of her mask?
The next card covers the true self. 3 of Wands. Virtue. It's only natural to want to show our best self to others. Sometimes what lies within is scary. The third card crosses the first 2.
She then shows us the Magus, or Magician card.
Balance between all elements, powers and faces. Others are more in control than you realize. What is the root of this dynamic? Knight of Cups, Fire of Water. Ever meet someone so charming with the emotional depth of a puddle? That's this person. Now, for past influences with the 4th card.
She shows us the Empress card and tells us:
she represents abundance, creativity, and fertility. She creates union between opposites, often resulting in a child being born. Ready to see your crown card? Reverse Prince of Discs, Heir of Earth. In reverse form, this slothful prince waits for things to be handed to him. pessimism and apathy overrun those attached to this card. The 6th card reveals future influences. 4 of Wands, completion. This card is ruled by the lazy Prince of Discs. The Wands create the wheel which turns fully. The Prince has others help to complete his tasks which will directly affect the future. So how do you affect matters? 3 of Swords, sorrow. It's hard being optimistic in our current world. No one helps anyone anymore. Though it brings suffering, the flower petals will be divided, not equally. The 8th card is how others around you can affect the situation. Queen of Wands, water of fire. Determined and strong-willed, this queen acts as a catalyst for change. She ruled over the 3 of Wands. She is very proud of herself and her virtues. The 9th card represents our greatest fears and desires tangled into one. Did you ever want something so bad that it frightened you? 5 of Swords, defeat. Want to know what the best thing about losing is? You don't have to try anymore. Are you ready for the final outcome card? Reversed Queen of Cups, water of water. Unlike her fiery sister, this queen is ruled by whatever reflection she catches. She is very influenced by elements, especially emotional ones, in her environment. She often makes decisions based on others' opinions. This will be her downfall.
I still cannot help but to wonder if much of what is said here is some sort of clue, foreshadowing, or hint to us. Maybe an SOS of sorts. At times, she almost sounds like she's talking about herself, especially in regards to the High Priestess and the Queen of Wands. But then she speaks of an Empress, full with child, and a lazy Prince of Discs and his followers. Who could these people be? Through it all, could she actually be talking to us, the viewer? This is just some girl in a mask, with a sexy Instagram account, and a YouTube channel with various strange, but not too unusual vlogs, right? You don't think she's being forced to do anything against her will, do you? I didn't think so either, until she uploaded Blue Room. Until now, I had been passively spectating. Some of you may have been aware of an Instagram post I posted about this before I left Instagram. My caption was, "Let her out right now, damn it," with a tag attached to her Instagram account. Let me now show you what that was all about. After watching all of her videos up to this point, and after delighting over her Instagram posts, suddenly I see this girl restrained in this blue room with someone else recording. We now find that she is indeed not alone, and seemed to be in some sort of peril. The description of the video reads, "How long should she stay in there? Tell us in the comments." It didn't take long for a response to come to my Instagram post from the user 64342 account. By now, I had become emotionally invested in this user. Seeing this had me thinking that someone must have found her and were now holding her captive, about to do bad things to her. It was at this point that I decided to open an official investigation. I messaged the account and was surprisingly met with a response, thus opening wide this rabbit hole, causing me to fall much, much deeper than what I had at first expected. I was told that the girl in Blue Room was not, in fact, user 64342. The girl with the dragon tattoo had apparently been the one filming a different user, not yet assigned a set of numbers. This one was still in the process of having the unnecessary parts removed, you see.
We remove what has frightened us and held us back from devotion and enlightenment.
I decided to go back and look at the YouTube channel closer this time. This is when I discovered a subreddit in the About section. With one click onto the smile, I was directed to the SpookyFace Man subreddit. Scrolling all the way to the bottom, I found the first post from a Reddit user named SpookyFace Man, whom the subreddit is named after. It is a black and white photo of a younger person, probably in their late teens. Hands behind their back indicate restraint, and the black tape in the shape of an X covering where the mouth should be on the white mask they are wearing shows signs of somehow being silenced. This person seems to be standing in front of a garage or some other place of storage. Looking at Spooky's profile on Reddit, you'll see that he started his account on April 4th, 2017. But the first post wasn't until July 25th, 2018. That's about 8 months later. What was happening during all this time? Something else of particular interest to me is a strange alphabetical code heading this photo. This doesn't appear to be your everyday Google it up and solve it code. This seems to be homemade and a tough nut to crack. Since this is the first post on the subreddit, I want to believe that this post is dearly important to understanding what exactly is going on with user 64342. Cracking this code could be the key to understanding it all. As we scroll up, you'll see the next 5 photos are similar to the first. They are all of a young woman, presumably the same young woman as in the first photo. The titles of these photos are Smile, Today's a New Day, Doll, Pretty Smile, and Smile When Alone. There is a theme going on here, and it has to do with the face, in particular the mouth region. This seems to be documenting some type of growth or physical change, a maturing or an initiation, a grooming of sorts. You will notice these are not selfies. These photos seem to be taken by someone else. These photos seem to be taken by the SpookyFace Man himself. So who is this SpookyFace Man? Could the subjects in these pictures be user 64342? What could the reasons be for taking these photos of her and creating this subreddit? When we look at her Reddit user account, we see that it was created on July 26, 2019, and her first post was her doll collection video on August 5th of 2019. Going back to her YouTube channel though, we see that it was created on September 23rd, 2017, and her first upload was on July 20th, 2019. That's a whole month before her first Reddit post. So to recap, Spooky's Reddit user account was created on April 4th, 2017, while user 64342's YouTube was created on September 23rd, 2017. The SpookyFace subreddit was created on July 23rd, 2018, and his first post was on that subreddit on July 25th, 2018. This post was the first time we are presented with something, at least that's what we are led to believe so far, with what we have for public consumption, but more on that later. The first YouTube video on user's channel was uploaded on July 20th, 2019. Her Reddit account was created on July 26th, 2019, and she first posted to the Unknown Videos subreddit on August 5th, 2019, showing off her doll collection. Finally, she posts to the SpookyFace Man subreddit almost 9 months ago on September 14th with the image title Serrated Parades. Was this an image that she took of SpookyFace, or could this be someone else, another keeper or user perhaps? I decided to approach her on the subject. I noticed Serrated Parades was your first entry on r/SpookyFaceman. Any reasons in particular you chose this image as your introduction onto the SpookyFace subreddit, and what does it mean to you?
Oh, yes, that's the one of Molech standing in the doorway of the special place. I chose that as my first picture on the subreddit because I liked it, and because Molech said I could post it. Also, the name comes from the blade saw thing we used to cut through one of the walls. There was so much dust, it was like confetti at a parade.
Who is Molech? What made that place special, and why did you have to cut through the wall?
Molech was a keeper when I arrived. The special place is a place of reflection and consequences. I'm not allowed to talk about what we were doing there.
I see. Not a problem. May I ask exactly what a keeper is?
A keeper keeps us safe.
A keeper keeps us safe. What does that even mean? Does this mean there are several keepers? How many are there for that matter? And how exactly are they keeping this user, and possibly other users, safe? And safe from what? And why? A little further up, you'll see another video posted by a Reddit user named Molech Is Dead, but it too is unavailable. The very next post, however, is an image of an eye, posted by SpookyFace Man. And what do we see when we zoom in closely? Continuing where we left off on the user 64342 YouTube channel, the next video we come to is how to move like a doll. Here we see another figure, this time with her, wearing a black hood and a white dust mask. User 64342 sits facing the camera, trying not to move except for where this person moves her. Various objects are placed in her pliant hands, a teacup and saucer, a small pumpkin, and another doll, as he demonstrates to us her obedience to him. You can see her breathing deepening as the footage speeds up. Here, remember the doll that wore its skeleton on the outside? This one has a face like that one, like the mask with the black tape over its mouth, worn on the SpookyFace Man subreddit, almost as to reassure us that 64342 is in fact the girl in the black and white photo, and that these doll faces are the same. The black hooded figure shows us the back of the doll's head, perfectly covering user's face, and blending in with her the same colored hair. If we look back at the SpookyFace Man subreddit, we see an image of someone that looks remarkably like the man in the black hooded outfit. This image was posted by an account called Molech Is Dead. Could the person in the video be Molech the Keeper? The video was posted December 22nd, 2019. The image by Molech was posted on December 19th. I don't think that it's a very far stretch that the photo was taken around the same time. Now, this was the first video uploaded to the channel after my investigation began. This is also the first video where we see another figure, one asserting control over the doll. I can't help but to wonder if any of this was for my benefit, since they knew I wanted to make a video about user 64342, to show me, or us, that they have absolute control over her. When we go back to the subreddit though, we see that the image of Molech is the second post after 64342's Blue Room. In between the two is a video that Molech posted, and this one, at the time of this writing, is not private, thus allowing us to find his channel through this gateway. This gateway, like most of the videos on his channel, is titled with only 4 numbers. 1173 is the title of this one, and it's the second video showing availability on the channel. But we know there are other private videos because of the links from earlier posts on the subreddit from Molech. On his About page, we find out that the channel was created on September 11, 2016, and the description only reads, "She smiles." The channel's avatar is a photo of user 64342 before she had her current mask. It's the third photo found on the SpookyFace Man subreddit actually, which we've already touched on. Today is a new day. Even though the posting of the photo was almost 2 years after the channel was made, could the title of the photo have something to do with the creation of Molech's channel? And if so, what do the videos on the channel have to do with user 64342? The third video is called 1180 and was posted on December 21st, 2019. It appears to be a sequel to Blue Room, the video that started this entire investigation to begin with, and at the time, the most recent video on the channel posted just the day before How to Move Like a Doll. At this point, I was a bit confused about Molech and SpookyFace. Was Molech also this SpookyFace Man in which the subreddit was named after? And what about Yorick47? I kept seeing him in the comments on Reddit, and I even saw a post by him. I asked user 64342 about this, and was told,
"No, SpookyFace and Molech are two separate individuals who are both keepers. SpookyFace is much nicer. Yorick47 found us on Reddit, and is not directly related to what we do, though Molech thinks he has potential as a user. I hope that helps."
It helps a bit. At first I thought Yorick could be a part of this, but closer examination of his Reddit profile showed me that he may not be. Some posts, I have noticed, have been removed from the subreddit for being too graphic. Luckily, I had saved a few screenshots in the beginning of my investigation. Gemini Scriptures is an image of a man with his jaw removed in an almost surgical manner. It was posted by user 64342. And down in the comments, what do we find?
Very good. You are showing a great deal of promise.
Thank you. I was very nervous.
Seeing this image led me to wonder what was under 64342's mask. Could she have undergone a similar process to this? I had been seeing phrases like removal of the unwanted parts here and there, and my mind began to paint pictures of a girl without a jaw under the mask. Oh, but as I was saying, when I click on the Reddit from your YouTube, it goes directly to SpookyFace, and then I see your account and Smiley Face posting comments and things. I feel dumb that Reddit confuses me so. I also get confused because I don't know if there are people trying to copy you, but I've seen others using some of the same phrases, like removal of the unwanted things or unnecessary bits. But the story I've managed to piece together is that this is why your videos are silent. I am guessing that you have lost the ability to speak. I was cautious at the time to remain sensitive about the subject. I in no way wanted to be rude and say, "So did you get your jaw removed or what?"
Sorry for the late response. I was busy training. You're so sweet for liking my pictures. You're making me blush. It sounds like everything you have so far is accurate, and no worries. Reddit is a strange place that takes some getting used to. As far as I know, SpookyFace, Molech, you're Act 47 and I are the only approved submitters to r/SpookyFace Man, but I'm not sure cause I'm not a moderator, and I'm not sure about the others copying. Maybe they are secret users, but yes, you're correct. Most of my tongue was removed a few years ago. It's better now, because I can never say the wrong thing or communicate without thinking about it first.
Christmas Day, I was surprised when she sent me a link to an unlisted video. She wanted to show me another doll that she owned, not featured in her doll collection video. This one was special, however, because its white face and black hood reminded her of me. Ladies and gentlemen, this ARG was about to become very interactive. Indeed. It was around this time that I was told that if I gave her my email address to pass along to the SpookyFace Man, they would give me something nice in return, along with further correspondence with SFM himself. So I gave them my business email for the channel, and user 64342 was given authorization to send me a couple of links to some unlisted videos on the SpookyFace Man channel. The channel itself is almost void of viewable videos now. Apparently these videos were so graphic that the channel was almost deleted by YouTube, so the owner had to put everything on private in order to not lose so much work. Now, however, is not the right time to discuss the entire contents of that channel. Right now our focus is on these videos I was sent. Personal consumption. A video that is now private again shows us the bottom of user 64342's face without her mask on. I can't play the whole video without blurring some of it out, but she seems to place the tip of a knife blade under her tongue and slowly move it upwards as blood begins to trickle down. She does this on her own accord, as if in a trance. Is there someone else there behind the camera making her do this? Was she perhaps hypnotized or drugged, or does she just enjoy the pain? The video does not show the entire tongue being severed. I think this was just her preparing mentally and physically for when she did decide to remove it. In the video waistcoats, we see what is apparently her actual severed tongue lying on a page from an open book. I'm not sure what book this may be, so if anyone recognizes these pages, please let me know. I would be pretty interested in finding out which book that is. Something tells me it is relevant. After doing a little reading upon the subject, I surmised that if she did go through with the procedure, she was going to need someone around that at least knew a little medical knowledge, as there is a major vein that runs through your tongue, and if you're not careful, you will bleed out. This must be where the keeper comes in. Even though I already had an open line of communication with user 64342 via Instagram, she decided to send me an email outlining how she came to meet SpookyFace. It seemed she had run away from home, tired of living an abused childhood, and went deep into the woods hoping to get lost and succumb to the elements. Tired, hungry, and near death, she must have wandered onto the SpookyFace Man's property, where he found her, took her in, and began his conditioning program upon her. Soon I began a cordial correspondence with SpookyFace, who told me that he was interested in a friendship that was forming between user 64342 and myself, and that he wanted to see where this would lead. He told me he was in agreement with the documentary I wanted to make about his user, because it would help further the goal of their organization. I gathered from our conversations that he had not just a fascination, but an obsession with understanding the human psyche and its connections to the universe as a whole. In order to do this, he surrounded himself with damaged people like the angry Molech, or the broken doll user 64342, or any other number of users and keepers. It was for this reason that he went into the medical field and became a doctor of psychiatry. He had come to his own conclusions as to how the conscious mind interacts with the reality around it, and now had the power to test his theories out in private without the interference of legal red tape. Not long after I had begun my correspondence with the SpookyFace Man, I was messaged by user 64342 with an image of a round yellow piece of metal that she found in an ornate box. She said she felt energy coming from it, and that she was strangely attracted to it, though she knew it was something that she wasn't supposed to play with. I told her to be careful, as SpookyFace told me that the keepers are always watching what she says and what she is being told, but still later that night, she sent me another unlisted video. For being so cooperative and such an all-around nice guy, I was granted a personal tarot reading from 64342. With her in the video was the gold disc, as she said it would bring extra power to the reading. I already knew that doing so might be a mistake on her part, because the SpookyFace Man was sure to find out she took it, and she knew she had been told not to touch it. Sure enough, punishments, as it would seem, were handed out on December 30th, 2019, in returning the things you borrowed. We now see through the lens of the keeper as we enter the room with them. But who is it that is really being punished? Going over this again, we see that user 64342 is sitting in the dark, gently rocking back and forth, while watching an old animated short on television. As the camera pans towards the screen, the first image we see is of a great red dragon. This is from the 1957 episode of The Gumby Show called Dragon Witch. As the voice speaks of the witch, the camera pans towards 64342 and draws near her. We already know she has an interest in tarot reading. Could this video be telling us that she has an even deeper involvement with the occult? A hand reaches out from behind the camera and beckons her to return something. It is the golden disc reminiscent of the sun, but like the moon's orbit, it moves with the camera back to the television screen by the hand of the keeper. Like some magician's trick, there is suddenly something else playing on the TV besides Gumby, though we still hear the animated short soundtrack. There's someone else on the screen, blonde, short hair. A knife is being put to this person's throat, but the camera pans away too quickly for us to see more than a glimpse of the hand holding the blade as it makes an upward stabbing motion. This seemed to have an undertone to me. This felt personal somehow. Ever since Blue Room, they knew I had been watching, showing an interest. Was it because I was showing a concern for the safety of user 64342? Though I had been told time and time again that she was in no real danger, there seemed to be this constant assertion of control over her by the keeper. I couldn't help but to feel that he was trying to get some sort of reaction out of me. After this, I received an email from Molech. It was just a link. Another unlisted video of user 64342 without her mask. We know it is her because she has the same mole on her chest. And this time, apparently, she was eating a piece of glass. I was really confused as to why he decided I should see it. It was, after all, just the link and no explanation. I asked if he wanted me to show it to the public, and he said it was up to me. I asked what the numbers meant on his videos, and he told me it was none of my business. He and I spoke briefly, back and forth, on the subject of occult philosophy. But then things started to go south when he asked me if I would like to see him cut off user 64342's hand. I told him that SpookyFace would never allow him to do that. 64342, you see, is the most successful user he has created so far. He would not want to see that work damaged. I told Molech that I now knew what kind of individual I was dealing with, and that I cared not to know more. I DM'd 64342 about what had happened, and she seemed genuinely upset that he showed me that video and told me those things. Later I was told that SpookyFace had forbidden Molech from having access to user 64342 for a period of time because of the incident. Not that it would faze him most likely, since supposedly he has his own house and his own user to tend to. Perhaps this is who we see in 1193. On January 8th, Molech uploaded another video to his channel. In this one, we at first see a close-up of a pair of knees as metallic sounds can be heard clanking. Slowly, the sound of hyperventilating breaths get louder and louder before the video abruptly comes to an end. But then on January 12th, just 4 days later, we can see that a similar video was uploaded to user 64342's channel, showing you my friends. This time, we can hear someone talking on the radio or television in the background as we see user 64342 fixing her hair in the mirror before walking down the hall towards the restroom. It is the Paul Harvey "If I Were the Devil" speech we hear, and upon opening the door, inside we see what appears to be two nude, or at least partially nude women, sitting in the bathtub, with their faces buried in their knees. Above them we see, drawn in something that resembles blood, a set of eyes surrounded by the same symbols drawn over and over again. We also get partial glimpses of the two girls' faces towards the end. Are these some of the other users 64342 has been telling us about? What are the symbols, and what do the eyes mean, and why are they both in the bathtub? When we take a look at the subreddit once more, to see if anything was posted on or around that date, we do see a video post by yet another Reddit user called Christopher Robbins, and it's a video shared from another subreddit called Cultus Draconis. Furthermore, before that post, there are two more posts by this account, an Affable Zombie and Next to Godliness. These must be the two we see in the bathtub when user 64342 was showing us her friends. I don't want to say for sure if either of them were the same person in Molech's 1193, but perhaps these videos were both serving as the same function, to symbolically demonstrate to us the baptisms or ritual cleansings of these women. When we go to the Cultus Draconis subreddit, we see that the link to this video, the New Testament, was the first post posted on the subreddit. We also see that the symbol that was written on user's bathroom wall is the same symbol used for this subreddit's icon. The video leads to yet another channel. How many channels are there? It is the most recent upload to the Affable Zombie channel, which we'll have to go into further detail on another evening as we're running out of time here. For now, I just want to run through this one. It starts out with user 64342 sitting at a table writing a letter. Behind her stands SpookyFace, overseeing his work before approaching her. She hands the letter to him, and he walks off to the left. Next we see a red dot of light in the center of the screen, but we quickly find out that it's the red light of a phone camera reflecting in a mirror. As it draws away, we can see more and more of the room behind the camera. In the reflection, we can see someone is tied to a chair, and there are some other creepy dolls looking in the background.
You will read this letter into the camera.
The voice from behind the camera speaks to a tied-up woman in a mask to read the letter user 64342 had been dictated to write, which she does.
Every privilege I've seen with wonder and awe the strength of what the Red Dragon can do. He has showed me my true inner beauty. He has shown me how to live without the burden of my free will. He has shown me how to gain devotion and enlightenment through the removal of the unwanted things, and by having every shred of innocence taken away. Everything that his dad feels God said about the Dark Party is a lie. I meant to pull the dragon into a trap in San Antonio, Texas.
No, hold up. Wait a minute.
Hold on.
Wait a minute.
Wait a minute.
No, hold up.
What do you mean? What?
Wait, no.
What are you talking about?
Hold up. No, wait.
Okay, wait, hold on.
what?
Why? Okay.
I live in San Antonio, and it just so happens that there was a meeting with some of Dad's so-called Dark Party members only a few days after this video was uploaded at PAX South. I say so-called because there is no Dark Party cult.
Out there what's going on, but apparently on the cul-de-sac members and Dark Party members, yeah, there's no such thing as a cult, so
Do you trust me?
that leaves you with two options.
Hey there! I'm Lily Draws, self-proclaimed e-girl and digital artist, and I'm here to pass a message.
I don't believe Night Mind, Inside of Mind, or
YouTubers like Nexpo, Nightmind, Inside of a Mind.
Okay, I need to make one thing straight, or maybe two, okay?
Inside of Mind, Night Mind. I don't know who this Lowly Low, whatever her name is.
Loey Lane and Night Docs to be in a cult or a dark party.
Not one of them. I know one of them personally. He's not in a cult. At least not in a cult that's stalking this dad character.
The thing is, there's no such thing as a dark party.
There are no such things as cults.
There's no such thing as cults.
There is no such thing as cults.
There's no such thing as cults.
Nor the Dark Party.
These people are not in a cult in any way, shape, or form.
Cults don't exist. Especially one known as the Dark Party that people keep messaging me about, okay?
The Dark Party does not exist.
Many people will call me out for that, and I know that will be true. But do you know what? I have my facts and opinions.
There's no such thing as the Dark Party.
That doesn't exist. No such thing, never was, alright?
Now, a person like this dad person has 100,000 subscribers, many followers, claiming.
Don't claim anyone who is doing a video about you to be in a dark party.
Based on his limited research, that they're in a cult.
Dad, don't think me wrong that I'm going to the dark party. I do love the dark party rooms and stuff, but really, there's no such thing as a dark party.
Nothing. I swear.
It's not very nice when you or your associates or just anyone in general is accused of being in a cult.
There's nothing to be scared of.
Okay, have a nice day.
We all know Dad was only dreaming.
Dad was just dreaming.
But still, that doesn't explain why such a left field reference was made. It couldn't just be a shameless plug or an attempt at game jacking. They already had my attention, and they were already well rich enough in lore than to have to borrow from someone else. I wasn't sure if they did it for my benefit, since they probably knew I was going to PAX, or if they genuinely felt threatened somehow by Dad feels.
Dad, you will learn from my own lips how much you have to dread, because he will be more merciful to me than he will be to you. I will be a testament to the truth of it. You will lie at night in great fear of what the Red Dragon will do.
You did good. You will tell the truth, won't you?
When I emailed SpookyFace about the video and this cryptic dad reference, he only said that they have a lot riding on me, and that they only wanted to keep me safe on my journey. As for the Christopher Robbins account on Reddit, he said it was an older account that he had just recently regained access to, and would be utilizing both accounts from now on. When I asked him what he meant when he said they have a lot riding on me, He confided in me that they had performed an occult ritual just prior to meeting me. Their focus was to find someone to help spread their word and bring a voice to their organization, to their Great Red Dragon. To this, I respectfully declined, and to that I was answered. But destiny has already seen it. In this world it will be done, as in the next, and all the others to come. Eventually, you will join us. I didn't know if I should just drop the investigation or play along. This was, after all, just an ARG and nothing to be frightened of, right? But still, I guess you never know. Sometimes playing an ARG is a lot like playing a game of chicken. When it starts to get too real. And real it would seem to get come January 18th, when I was atted on Twitter by Christopher Robbins, aka the SpookyFace Man, while I was at PAX. This tweet is gone now, but it was a live stream, and it was coming from PAX. It seems that SpookyFace had also attended PAX South along with 2 of his users, and they were walking around upstairs above me. I tried to find them, but the live stream ended before I could get there. It was later pointed out to me, though, that he had an Instagram account, and on it he posted another clip from PAX. Luckily, I was able to find a site that allowed me to download that clip before he deleted his Instagram account. After this incident, I just sort of shut down for a while. I don't know how much of what they had said about their occult capabilities are true, but so many strange coincidences have started happening since SpookyFace told me about the ritual. This was all getting to be too much. As much fun as it all was, as much as I enjoyed User 64342's company, as thrilling as this close brush with SpookyFace was, and as chilling as these private videos were, I think it all started to take a toll on me. I started having nightmares almost every night. User 64342 and I had talked about astral travel a lot, and the possibilities of meeting somewhere on the astral plane one night. Now I started dreaming that I was being turned into a doll. I started dreaming that the users were holding me down while SpookyFace slowly removed my organs and began replacing them with mechanical parts and turning me into some sort of puppet. I dreamt my mask became my face, and I couldn't feel anything anymore, and that they removed my voice box and replaced it with a cassette tape recorder, with a cassette tape inside that kept playing random Bible quotes. But the Bible quotes were all fire and brimstone. I've never been this involved in something like this, so I'm naturally excited. I've never experienced something this realistic, yet fantastical, or interactive before. They've continued to be very active, so active in fact, that it's going to take another video entirely to cover it all, and to do it proper justice. I wouldn't be doing User 64342 justice either if I were to close her video out with the primary focus on other members of this cult. She is quickly gaining popularity as an Instagram influencer, complete with her own line of merchandise, and has a really interesting YouTube channel that still has so much more than what I've been able to cover tonight. But the fact is, however, in order to do her proper justice, we are going to have to go back and touch on the SpookyFace Man channel, Molech Is Dead channel, and the Christopher Robbins channel. When we look back at the SpookyFace Man channel, you'll see there are 2 videos up, Faces and Patient Scriptures. The most recent one, Faces, is evidently a spooky face reveal. Huge red lips cover the screen as the camera pans up to an eye behind a clear plastic mask. This eye transitions into another. It is the trance-like eye of the user. We then see her with arms raised as if shackled or tied up. 2 pieces of tape cover her mouth in the shape of an X, precisely like the photo on the SpookyFace Man subreddit. Patient Scriptures is 30 seconds of user's blinkless eye, evidently a segment of a longer recording made during one of her conditioning sessions. I was fortunate enough to snag some videos from the channel before they were put on private, which may offer some further insight into the psyche of user 64342. In Sepsis, we see what appears to be another recorded segment from a conditioning session made by SpookyFace. This time, we are looking down on user from above, while she is on her knees, on a bed, wearing nothing but a bag over her head. Her arms are not restrained. Either she already knows that she's going nowhere, or at this point she doesn't even want to. In a video called Blame Sandy, we are shown a close-up of a mask, which is pulled back to reveal 64342 beneath, her mouth covered in duct tape. We can find a picture with this mask in it posted by SpookyFace Man to the subreddit on September 30th. 2019. User 64342 is holding it while wearing another mask. We know it is her because she posted Grin exactly a month later on October 30th. We know it is her once again because of the mole on her chest, but also because it's the same mask from Today is a New Day. Below Grin is Parables, maybe hinting that this is a polar opposite, or demonic personality that lies somewhere deep within the doll. I mean, just look at this grin. Does not just one look at it send a chill down your spine? Is this the same sweet user that puts all the little heart and eye emoji in all the titles of her YouTube videos, and would rather call someone
silly beans
than a... May I also point out that Grin is in black and white, while there are vivid, vibrant colors in Parables, further illustrating this juxtaposition. Tickets, Please, and Remember the Train appear to be old home movies of a train ride. Tickets, Please is in black and white, while Remember the Train is in color. In both of these videos, there is a child of about the age of 4. I believe this to be user 64342 as a child. If we compare the eyes from Remember the Train to the eyes on Faces, we can see the same shadow under the left eye. Moving to Molech's channel, we'll see that the latest video uploaded there is called Remember the Train Reimagined. It is a remix of the original Remember the Train, with additional footage added, a cassette tape recorder, a short black and white clip of user 64342 crossing the yard, blood, an overhead view of an altar being used, and more gore. I have a feeling that these images are arranged in a certain order for a reason. The more modern clips are spliced in between the images of the child on the train ride. There must be a reason for the whole then and now. Lastly, if you were to stumble across the Christopher Robbins channel, which is easily found through the subreddit, you would see that the most recent upload to that channel is Snakes and Other Cold-Blooded Things. This time, the SpookyFace Man seems to want to take us just a little deeper into the mind of his most successful user, and perhaps to show us his reasons for uploading these home movies. Just as in Returning the Things You Borrowed, 64342 is seen here, again, sitting in the dark watching the television. But this time, she is watching one of these home movies of herself. Snakes and other large lizards seem to mystically glare and lick at her younger self from the other side of the glass, as if penned by Rowling herself. We now have new insight as to what is happening at the end of Returning the Things You Borrowed. If she is forced to watch these home movies that were made when she was just a child, perhaps during happier times, creating happier memories, then her mind might begin to displace a sense of nostalgia upon the more graphic ideology if she goes straight into watching movies of herself she was forced to make at some point as some sort of slave. Perhaps this blur of ideology is what created this apparent division in personality we see in Grin and Parables. I can tell you from the conversations that I've had with her, in her mind, she is a completely artificial person, a true living doll, and ultimately obedient to the keepers. To ask her, she would say she's found total enlightenment and is now perfectly happy where she is in life, rid of the burden of having to make her own decisions, rid of the fear of speaking out of turn, rid of all the normal responsibilities a normal human has. She is perfectly physically lovely in her artificiality, but when beauty is only skin deep, and the eyes are the windows to the soul, we may see that finders are keepers, and users are weepers, and even stranger things lurk just beyond the looking glass. I have been your host, Mask, and I thank you for watching. There, I've done my part. Will the nightmares go away now? Hi, Mask here. I just wanted to take a moment to tell you to check out this new line of Living Doll merch by user 64342. There are some really wonderful designs here with many shapes and sizes and colors to choose from. We have posters, t-shirts, and even cell phone cases. It's a little pricey, especially during these hard times, but it's all going to a great cause. The Cultist Backbonus Fund, creating a brighter world for tomorrow after the apocalypse today.